What are impacts of mobility in human life? It is an era of the co-evolution of humans and technology. The Konkuk University's HK Plus Mobility Humanities Education Center, MHE, offers mobility humanities education that will enable citizens to realize impacts of mobility on human culture and to shed light on citizens as subjects in a high mobility era. Now, let's take a look at cases of ecological migrants as mobility humanities educational contents, asking questions about the sustainable future of mankind and scrutinizing issues of environment and ecology, as well as matters of human rights and life. In September of last year, the Institute for Economic Peace, the global think tank, released the Ecological Threat Register ETR 2020. The ETR 2020 analyzed risk in 157 countries in terms of population growth, water stress, food insecurity, droughts, floods, cyclones, rising temperatures, and sea levels. The ETR 2020 predicted that by 2050, over 1 billion people will be displaced as climate change migrants due to population growth, food insecurity, water stress, natural disasters. Just 30 years later, migrants' problems will become a matter of survival in nations or regions, increasing not only international political conflicts, but also social stress. This is why we need to conduct mobility humanities education now.
Ecological migrants refer to both humans and all kinds of living creatures displaced by loss of their habitat due to ecological crises resulting from emergencies caused by natural, human, or viral disasters.
Tuvalu, a small island country in the South Pacific, is being submerged into the sea at a rate of 5 millimeters every year, and the entire country is on the verge of submersion by 2050. In Africa, 120,000 square kilometers of land is deserted every year. In particular, in Sahel, West Africa, about 200,000 people have started migration due to drought. In recent years, large wildfires that spread across Australia for 10 months killed animals or displaced them as ecological migrants after losing their habitat. We have categorized the cases of ecological migration into 3 major crises.
Natural emergencies, where people or animals lose their original residence and are displaced due to natural disasters such as floods, droughts, forest fires, and earthquakes. Human emergencies caused by human activities such as global warming, radioactive contamination, as witnessed in the Chernobyl and Fukushima regions, war, rapid urbanization, and industrialization. Viral emergencies, which are caused by life-threatening viruses, ranging from the Black Death, the worst virus in the Middle Ages, to the currently ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Cases of ecological migration, caused by all situations in human life, have grown enormously in number and scale.
Let's start with the case of ecological migrants forced to relocate due to natural emergencies.
In 2019, Forsaking Jakarta, Indonesia announced the relocation of the capital city. This was attributable to the repeated flood damage every rainy season. Jakarta, home to more than 10 million people, is a metropolitan city. However, it is located in a swampy area with many rivers, sinking 7.5 centimeters every year with rising sea level. Here, on January 1st, 2020, the record heavy rain that struck Jakarta caused 67 deaths and displaced 92,000 people. Ecological migrants have no choice but to leave their homes because of recurring disasters.
As seen in urban redevelopment, cases compelling people to give up their residence, human activities put people in a crisis situation and render them ecological migrants. We move on to the case of Fukushima, where large-scale forcible displacement occurred due to earthquakes, tsunamis, and nuclear power plant accidents.
In March 2011, a nuclear power plant in Fukushima Prefecture leaked radioactivity caused by an unprecedented earthquake in the northeastern part of Japan. An evacuation order issued after this nuclear accident led to 110,000 people leaving the surrounding area. In 1986, the Chernobyl disaster, then world's worst nuclear accident, resulted in forceful relocation of 335,000 people to other regions by 1990.
The increase in social distancing, lockdowns, and migration to nature due to the COVID-19 pandemic is human movement, resulting from a virus emergency. Ecological migrants include the migration of animals as well as humans. Let's see examples of animal migration in each emergency.
It can be considered as animal migration caused by natural and human emergencies, where polar bears lose their habitats, and birds, fishes, and turtles change their movement patterns, with glaciers melting due to global warming. So, has animal movement occurred due to COVID-19? British researchers begun to study how the anthropause caused by pandemic-induced quarantine has influenced wildlife. The findings of the study will be helpful for people to learn how to share an increasingly crowded Earth with other creatures.
As explained so far, ecological migration occurs in a variety of situations in states of natural, human, and viral emergencies. The migration of humans and animals creates problematic situations both in human society and natural ecosystems. Let's see what problems occurs in human society.
South Korea has already transformed into a multicultural society, with the number of foreign residents exceeding 2 million, but perceptions of foreigners have not changed at all. According to a survey by the National Human Rights Commission of Korea, 68% of migrants reported that there was racial discrimination in Korea. The prejudice caused by migrants' Korean language proficiency and nationality, resulting in labor exploitation and discrimination, is manifested throughout society. Recently, some Koreans, centering on the Human Rights Council, are urging the enactment of a law that prohibits xenophobia and discrimination of migrants.
Ecological migration causes problems not only in human society, but also in natural ecosystems.
It is mostly invasive species that tend to disturb ecosystem. An invasive species can be any kind of living organism that is not native to a country. Organisms that are artificially or naturally introduced from foreign countries affect the habitats of native organisms, resulting in disrupting the balance of the ecosystem and the diversity of species. Invasive species act as a living weapon that threatens the ecosystem. Biodiversity can be damaged due to invasive species introduced by travel, trade, and import of aquaculture fishes, as well as foreign marine organisms introduced to the sea because of rising seawater temperatures caused by climate change.
What matters is our response to human social problems and natural ecosystem disturbances arising from ecological migration. In 2013, Tuvalu declared a national crisis where people were rendered climate migrants. However, migrants hosting countries set high standards and receive migrants on a limited basis. Neighboring country New Zealand announced that it would accept 75 migrants a year, aged 18 to 45, who can speak English. However, it is estimated that the number of migrants will grow as climate change is progressing faster than ever before. How should the world respond to the problems of human society resulting from migration?
It is generally insisted that a program receiving climate disaster victims as immigrants should be introduced. It is proposed that it is necessary to stop the deportation of climate migrants through the immigration law amendments and to accept them as official immigrants on a humanitarian basis. At the same time, it is recommended that governments work quickly to restore areas affected by the abnormal climate and prepare for further damage in the future.
We are all coexisting on Earth. The environment is connected not only to humans, but to all animals and plants, and is deeply intertwined with human culture, politics, and society. Therefore, how can we coexist with ecological migrants has become an important topic in a high mobility era. Mobility Humanities education conducted by the MHE is an educational model that looks at the present and prepares for the future. Through Mobility Humanities education, the MHE aims to seek answers for a sustainable future of mankind by grasping issues of ecological migrants produced by environmental disasters and scrutinizing the issues of human rights and life.